Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Ingalls and this is my discussion post for my Investigating Diverse Families assignment. For my assignment, I interviewed one of my mom's cousins, so one of my distant cousins named Joy Tracy. She is 60 years old, which makes her a part of the baby boomer generation, and I am 25, so that makes me a part of Gen Z, so 35-year age difference between the two of us. So in her interview, throughout a lot of her answers and stuff, I did see a lot of similarities between her answers and then how I feel myself personally. One of the first ones being a value of family. She mentioned over and over again in her answers about how strongly she feels about family, spending time with family, support from family, supporting your family. And this is kind of a core value I see with myself. That's a huge thing for me is family and that familial support, so definitely very similar there. The second one I saw that we had similarities on is work experience and hard work ethic. She had mentioned in her answers that she started her first real job when she was in 8th grade, stocking shelves at a local store in her hometown, but before that she would babysit, do different things like that. That's actually the exact same for me. I also started my first real job when I was in 8th grade working at one of the stores in my hometown, and before that would babysit and do different things. And she really just stressed the importance of having a good work ethic. If you're wanting something, to work hard for it, to obtain it. And that is something that, again, I see as a kind of a core value for myself, just really important to have that hard work. And then one of the third similarities that I saw between us is the role of a disciplinarian. She had talked in one of her questions about how her parents would discipline her, and then about how she disciplines her kids and grandkids, and about how she doesn't really believe in hitting your kids, but more gentle parenting, loving, understanding, stuff like that. And then if need be, then kind of a smack on the butt there. And I don't have kids myself, but my nieces, my nephews, this is kind of the same thing I do. Again, don't really believe in hitting, but more just the gentle parenting or gentle correcting, and then absolutely need be kind of a smack on the butt there. There were some differences in our answers, or her answers, and then how I feel for myself personally. Another major value for her, she said, was religion. For Joy personally, the church is a huge social institution for her. She is full-time as a nurse, but then one of her part-time jobs is she's a pastor, and she just talked about over and over again how the church and religion is just such a huge deal to her, and that's just not something that is a big value for me, for myself. I'm just not a huge religious person, so that's just kind of one thing we differed in. The second one being the social institution of higher education. For myself, right out of high school, I knew I was going to go into higher education, go to college, get a degree, whereas Joy, right out of high school, was more told, no, that's not really your role. You can work, if you want, and then basically you're going to be a mom and take on that role of parenthood. And I think that just kind of really shows the differences in the time, where here it's more of the expected norm to go to school versus back then. And then a third one that's different is kind of goals and values for her. She said her major life goal was just to be comfortable and happy. And that is something that I experienced for myself as well, but me looking at my sociological, imagination, it's more of being comfortable and happy, yes, but also having a job where I can have and afford a good life. So I feel like it's more socially expected today to be successful versus just happy. As far as world events and different things like that are really shaping Joy's life, she didn't mention a whole lot. She had even said, there weren't a lot of tragedies or anything that stick out for her. She did mention, however, at least her generation compared to the newer generations seem to continue to evolve. There's, more opportunities. She had mentioned about how versus when she graduated high school to now, the opportunities for women alone are just way more expanding. And, they're just continuing to evolve. She did also mention, though, how although they're continuing to evolve, the newer generations still also have a kind of a continuing tradition or ongoing thing of disrespect. So it kind of goes both ways. As far as the questions that I thought were really intriguing and insightful, the first one was, as you consider working with diverse generations, both older and younger, in your career, what values, beliefs, or social norms cause the most conflict and why? I thought her answer was really interesting. Joy had said, what appears to be the lack of respect for others' time and needs. People have become self-centered, short-tempered, narcissistic, and expect everything immediately. It makes it so difficult to work with people like this. It's really just a problem of lack of responsibility. So like I had kind of talked about before, as generations tend to evolve, there's still just kind of that underlying disrespect with a lot of people, and it shows there's some characteristics that don't just really change over time, and unfortunately they could be negative ones too, just not having respect for your coworkers and your workplace. Next question I thought was really insightful was considering influences in your school, family, and society based on your location, economic status, and or gender. In what ways were you persuaded to join certain organizations or persuade specific careers? Joy's answer was, I was told by my high school counselor not to go to college because there were, in quotes, plenty of jobs to do around town. She said I was a 4.0 student at the time, and I didn't go to college until I was 35, and I still got a 4.0. Counselors always need to be encouraging others. And this is something I feel like just really was insightful to me to show the true difference. Like I had mentioned, it's kind of just the expectation nowadays for after you're done with high school, then just go into some form of higher education, tech school, university, whatever it is. But back in Joy's generation, when she got out of high school, that just wasn't the case. It was more expected that you would take on the role of motherhood, parenthood, and if you didn't go to college, that was fine. A third question I thought was really insightful was, think back to when you were younger and what you had looked forward to achieving in life. Have you achieved the goals you had set for yourself? Joy's answer was, my main goal was always to be comfortable and happy, and I am. By that I mean having no worries. It isn't found in possessions, but in my belief in Jesus. When I go on mission work, it is so satisfying to have nothing yet actually have it all. Like I kind of mentioned before, it's just really nice seeing that, she's just happy with what she has and being happy. And especially in today's day and age, I feel like it's just more of the norm for people to just be materialistic and not be satisfied unless they have kind of the best of everything. Whereas Joy it's really nice to see she's just happy, having a good life. The most significant takeaway for myself is that throughout the generations, people overall, from at least what Joy had said, are very similar. I feel like a lot of people view the older generations in a lot of negative ways or judgmental ways, saying, they're more judgmental, they can be more racist or sexist, or for the younger generations, they can also be viewed as negative, whether they're disrespectful, this, that, the other. But at least from Joy's perspective, it really doesn't seem like that overall. People are good people. Yes, do they have trends of disrespect, this, that, and the other? Yes, but overall, Joy says people are good people and they stay being good people. It also really helped having this conversation, this interview with her, at least develop my own sociological imagination, as we're both nurses, we both have the same job, and she has genuine happiness, and it just gives me something to look forward to and a life to look forward to, because I know that's something I really want for myself. All right, thank you.